In this example, let's look at how to solve a system of linear equations by graphing. The first step is to take both equations that you're given in the system and write them in slope-intercept form. Now in this particular case, both equations are already in slope-intercept form. So if we take a look at that, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And in that form, we can determine the slope, which will be m, the coefficient of x, and the y-intercept, which we'll get from the constant here, b. The y-intercept will be the point 0, comma b. So looking at our first equation, y equals x plus 2, we can see that the coefficient on x is 1, so that's the slope. And if we think of that as a fraction, that's 1 over 1. And we'll need that here in a minute. The y-intercept we can get from b, and the y-intercept will be 0, comma b. Since b in our first equation is 2, the y-intercept is 0, 2. So we have a point, the y-intercept, and we have the slope. So we can graph our equation using those two pieces of information. So we'll click on the graph tool, we'll get the line tool. We're going to plot the y-intercept, which was 0, 2. And then we're going to use the slope to get a second point. So the slope was 1, which we wrote as 1 over 1, so that says rise 1 and run positive 1. So we go up 1 and to the right 1, and that gives us a second point. So there we have the graph of our first line, y equals x plus 2. We'll do the same thing for our second line. We have y equals 2x minus 4. Looking at y equals mx plus b, we can see that m is 2. So our slope is 2. And again, we want to think of that as a fraction. So we're going to think of that as 2 over 1. We want to find the y-intercept by looking at b. Now here the constant is negative 4. So even though it's written as minus here, and in the form it says plus b, we just have to think of minus as plus and negative. So the y-intercept in this case is going to be 0, comma, negative 4. So again, we'll plot this point and use the slope to get a second point. So back to our graph, we'll pick the line tool, plot 0, negative 4. That's the y-intercept. And then we're going to use the slope 2 to get a second point. So 2 we wrote as 2 over 1. So that says to rise 2 units and then run positive 1 unit. So we're going to go up 2 and to the right 1. So there we have our graph for the second equation, y equals 2x minus 4. Now at this point, we're going to find the solution by finding the point where they intersect. And we can see here that they're going to intersect at the point 6, comma 8. So first we'll check our graph, make sure that's right. And we do see there is one solution. That solution is the ordered pair 6, comma 8. So that's how we would solve a system of linear equations by graphing.